During the show out in San Diego?
Nah, the fight. All right, we live. Hey, all right, this your guy Town Beer Sports and Entertainment. Got a special guest. Welcome to the show. We got Ronald Cruz in the building. What's going on, Ronald?
What's up, everybody? What's going on, man? Doing good. How about yourself?
Man, I'm just chilling. I'm getting ready for the top rank card. I'm gonna be covering that card in San Diego. The main event. With Emmanuel Noravate. I'm working on my Spanish, man. So I'm gonna get better, man. I'm gonna get better. They saying a lot of living legends may possibly be there, but I'm excited about that fight. And plus, I get to talk like Ron Burgundy. So, but
That's
I'm
right.
I'm
That's
excited.
right.
So what's been going on with you?
Same old thing. Just chasing the dream, man. Just chasing the dream, boxing, living the dream, man.
Yeah. So we last saw you. You fought on the Canelo card. You fought against White Magic. God damn.
Yeah, you're
that name.
telling me, bro.
That name. That name. But it was a good. It was you fought your ass off. Unfortunately, you came up short. So, what do you think went wrong in the fight? What handicapped you from being able to secure the victory?
You know what? I felt like I had a great camp. I really felt really good leading up to the fight. Was in great shape. Just honestly, I feel like I've had a lot of layoffs in my career, and this is the first year, and I gotta say, like about 5 years that I finally get an active year going. This is the first time I fight 3 times in the last 11, 12 months. So we really just want to keep getting fights right now. So the goal is just to stay active because I feel like that's been my biggest hindrance when it comes to fighting these big fights. Just not having the comfort being in the ring. A lot of long layoffs, fighting once a year, fighting once every 12, like 14 months, it kind of hurts you. So I really think that that was the biggest hindrance I had because as far as a camp and my team, I felt really good, man. But nothing like ring rust. You know what I'm saying? I think we're still knocking off some of that.
So what was the problem? What prevented you from fighting actively? Like, why the long layoffs?
It was just I would call it like kind of like mismanagement. I'm really everything I know about the boxing world, I've learned as a professional. I have one boxing amateur fight, so everything I've learned has kind of been on the fly. The 10 years I've had as a pro, just kind of learning, jumping around, switching teams and things like that. Just I think a lot of not knowing what to do with my career was a big problem. And you know how it is, man. If someone doesn't know where you're going, like you don't know where you're going either. You kind of just walk in, just taking fights. But as far as the last year, I've kind of like made a little bit of a change where I want to progress my career forward. So now we're taking on bigger fights, bigger cards, and managing things a little bit better.
So are you a promotional free agent? Are you with any particular company? Or you really operate on your own? Because
Oh,
you give us some insight.
yeah, yeah, 100%. I'm solo dolo, man. It's just me and my coach. I have I mean, a little bit. He's kind of my advisor and my coach. He helps me out, kind of guides me. He was a world champion, so he can kind of guide me a little bit in the career choices that I make now. But I'm a free agent, man. So this has all been just by myself, just kind of winging it, trying to figure it out, and it's kind of a blessing to be where we are now.
So is that better to be a promotional free agent where you basically bounce around, or is it better to be tied to one particular promotional company like Top Rank or Matchroom or the PBC or or Golden Boy? And that's funny. You in Los Angeles where Golden Boy's headquarters is. Ironic.
Yeah, it is, man. And you know what? I think that if you can get a contract, I think it's a great thing to be able to get, especially if you're on the A side of the contract. In the boxing world, we have the A side, the B side, all that stuff. So I like being a free agent because I can kind of do what I want. But it's great to be able to count on a management team that has you and wants to see you succeed as well. I think the boxing world is a lot of when you fight and who you fight, and I think that almost anybody can be made out to be a great champion if they have the right guidance in their career. Picking the right fights, and they can get you the fights when you need them, good paying fights, things like that, right?
So it basically just come down to who you dealing with, and then making sure that everything goes through and making sure the money right. Is the money part the most difficult part about securing the fight? Is that the most hardest fight, or is it the opponent, or is it the money part, or is it both?
For me, the thing that I've found the hardest is getting a fair shake in the fights, honestly, because usually you'll get the call like this fight for Vegas. I got it with about 6 weeks' notice, which is pretty good. It's pretty good when it comes to getting a last minute call. A lot of times I think the biggest issue is getting a call where the money's decent, but they want you to fight in 4 days. They'll call you Tuesday morning, like, hey, you want to fight this Saturday? And you're kind of like, I mean, depending on who it is, you might take it, but that's usually the biggest factor I find. They like to call you last minute, depending on if you're like guys like me that aren't signed, always get those last minute calls, bro. I'm talking 3 days, 4 days.
So basically, it's the pros and cons of being a promotional free agent. You could do what you want, but the con part is the 4 days notice. That I mean that I wanted to get some insight on that, because that got to be difficult, especially if it's for a certain weight class. You may not even be at that particular weight. How does that work too? Like, okay, we need you to fight at 160, and you may be maybe 170. So do you have to like try to make weight too, or you have to not only have to prepare yourself for the fight, you have to like try to make weight for the fight?
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of fighters end up getting caught up, right? Because I mean, it's one thing to train for a fight; it's another thing to train to make weight for a fight. I think that happens to a lot of guys where they'll get seduced by a good paycheck, and then they'll just cut really, really hard to make the weight. In a few days, and then it has adverse effects on you when you fight.
So it's really really cutting weight is really difficult.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I mean, it really depends. Every fighter has it different, right? But I've seen some guys. I've seen guys suffer, man. I've seen guys suffer, and it's not the fun part of the sport. I'll tell you that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you a couple of more questions because I know you got to get ready to teach your class. Okay, so what was it like to fight on the Canelo undercard, and what was your impressions of Canelo's fight versus Jaime Mugia?
Well, it was an amazing event. I mean, that's bare minimum that I can say. They really, they went above and beyond for this event. I mean, the weigh-ins were amazing. Everything they took care of all the fighters and stuff. It was a great event, and I keep telling everybody, like, I always hear on TV where they talk about, oh, the energy in the arena is electrifying. And I had never really felt that before. But being over there, being at T-Mobile Arena when Canelo came out and Jaime came out, it was pretty intense, bro. You could cut it with a knife out in that arena. But it was just watching Canelo's power firsthand was pretty spectacular. I think that Jaime is the bigger guy, but Canelo I think had more power and more control and more composure in the fight, and it showed. You know, Jaime's punches were landing, but they weren't landing the same way that Canelo's punches were landing.
Well, let me ask you this. Um, some people, including myself, have criticized Canelo to a certain degree based off his opponent selection, and then some of the stuff said as a recent. I mean, when he said he wanted $200 million to fight David Benavidez, a lot of us were just like, wow. And then it was just like, dude, I don't even think that type of money is out there for anybody right now, let alone you. I don't think they'll give anybody. And a lot of people have just said Canelo just doesn't want to fight David Benavidez. What's your take on that? Do you think Canelo is ducking David Benavidez, or it's just basically typical the politics of boxing, and that the fight will eventually happen?
I don't think Canelo's really ducking him, I wouldn't say, but I don't think that it's a fight he wants to jump at either. I think that Benavides is a difficult fight, I think, for anybody. He's long, he's big, he's a true 168 pounder, 175 wherever he's at. And but I think Canelo's just playing the game. It's boxing, like it's the Mayweather formula. Like, you really want to see me have a chance at losing, like you better pay up big, and I really think that he'll probably end up getting at least near that amount. I mean, it's been done before. We just got to see if people are willing to pay to watch that. But if there's enough hype behind it, I think people will get behind it.
Okay. All right. Well, Ronald, I know you got to go, so I wanted to ask you one last question. What is your take on this whole thing with Ryan Garcia and the failed drug test and the Devin Haney thing? You know, I'm close to the Haneys, but at the same time, I'm objective. I've been following this stuff, and I want to ask you, as a boxer, how would you feel if somebody you fought failed drug tests, knowing all the blood, sweat, and tears that you put in getting ready, and this dude possibly had an unfair advantage, and you putting your life at risk, and this dude is, not really playing fair, and he could do some serious damage to you. So I just wanted to get your take on it. Just answer it the best way you can, and however you feel about the situation.
Yeah, man. So I think like if it was me, I'd be pretty upset, because I like to play fair. I feel like we should be fighting on an even playing field. With whatever's within the rules, we can do it. But I mean, honestly, you never know in this day and age, man. When you're talking about the big money, a lot of guys are using stuff. You know what I'm saying? Nate Diaz said it best.
Ooh,
Nate Diaz said it best. Everybody's on steroids. I think it's something that I don't think it's
well,
talked about enough in this sport, man. I
go
think a
ahead,
lot of
hey
people get. I'm
Ron, go
telling
ahead
you,
and cook.
I'm
Go
telling
ahead
you,
and cook,
man.
Ron.
Yeah, it's true. A lot of these guys get popped, and no one bats an eye. A guy does cocaine, everybody's going crazy, but a guy does steroids, it's just like, oh, that's not a big deal. That's not like, come on, I don't know, man. But honestly, just follow the money. That's all I know about this game. You follow the money. If guys are banking in good money, no promoter wants to get rid of them. And at the end, no matter what, this is just business. Everybody's in here just trying to get paid, and you could brush a lot of things under the table when you're talking about money, and we've seen it time and time again.
All right, so you guys, there you have it from Ronald Cruz. Hey, Ronald, where's your gym at, man? I want to come down there the next time I'm in the LA area, man. I'll do a session with you or something, man. I'm
Bro,
pretty
pull
nice
up.
on the bag. I'm pretty,
Pull,
I'm pretty nice on. I may have you train me because it's a couple of people I'm looking to put to sleep. So but I practice, man. I'm nice with it, man. I'm nice.
I
So,
got you, bro. Pull
so
up, man. We're in North Hollywood. Pull up whenever, bro. I got you. I got you, man.
all right. So tell everybody how to get in contact with you, and definitely, Ronald, give people the location of the gym.
Yeah, everybody. I train at Brick House Boxing Club. We're located in North Hollywood, California. And if you want to follow me, make sure you follow me on Instagram, Ronald_Cruz_. Real simple, baby. Thank you so much for the interview today, brother.
All right, hey Ronald, you are welcome here anytime. Whenever you want to come on here, you got the number. Hit me up. You are welcome anytime. And I could hook you up with my people too, man. So my boy, Goodfella Sports TV, 7A Sports, World Combat Sports. They looking to talk to guys like you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. Let's stay in contact. Let's stay in touch, and let's make some of that
I
happen.
got you. All
Thank you
right,
so
you
much today,
guys.
brother.
All right, thank you, Ronald.
See you later, bro. Have a good one.